Antonio at 10.
And our top story tonight, we are keeping an eye on the rain. More moving in. We'll get to that in just a moment. First, we want to get you brought up to date on new developments in a major investigation into drugs out in Medina County, some of them sold to high school students. Our Zach Hedrick joins us live there now with the latest. Zach?
Yeah, Randy, 2 more arrests made this evening, a man and a woman. I just checked with Sheriff Randy Brown a little bit ago, and charges are still pending for these 2. Deputies arrested 37-year-old Donald Ziegler here in Devine, and a search warrant was executed at a home, and they tell me they found meth and stolen items here. Now, right now, they believe Ziegler supplied drugs to the teenager we told you about yesterday. He's accused of selling meth to students in Medina County. In the end, it appears their own social media accounts led to their arrests.
And then when you go on social media and you start looking at some of the people you're looking at and they're doing drugs, right, they're taking pictures of themselves. Luckily, we're not dealing with any rocket scientists.
I've also learned the meth was being sold at 3 schools here in the area, according to the sheriff. As for the woman, her name has been released. Her name is Mary Corona, but her relation to Ziegler is unknown. Now, Randy, this case is far from over. Sheriff Brown told me he expects to make more arrests in connection with this case. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Zach. Want to take you over to Albert Flores with a look at that rain out there. How much is coming, Albert?
Randy, watch. You know, we get over to the big screen and we'll show you exactly what we're talking about. There is a lot of rain still in the area. However, it is diminished substantially from what we had earlier. The new energy is coming in out of the passage of this front. Bottom line, the showers are beginning to back down. The flash flood watches are gone, so we're in pretty good shape.
All right, thanks, Albert. New tonight, we have learned that South Alamo Street in Southtown there, south of downtown, it is getting some upgrades. And News 4 San Antonio's Camilla Rambaldi joins us live there with what is coming and how much it'll cost. Camilla, what's it like out there right now?
Randy, we're just across the street from the friendly spot on South Alamo. Right now, we have several of our own lights on, and there are also several street lights on here. And Dawn is going to go ahead and shut the lights off just to show you how dark it is. It's probably hard to see me, and it's just as hard to see the crosswalk right over there. And some businesses I talked to here off camera tell me it's taken a long time to get new lights out here.
A popular downtown street will soon be a little brighter.
So we're investing in this area.
Councilman Roberto Trevino says $160,000 will be spent to add more sidewalk lights along South Alamo, like these near Blue Star.
It's actually helping to improve these areas.
The goal of the design is to increase overall pedestrian safety.
It's also an area where we celebrate so many cultural events.
The project is part of a larger one that started in the area back in 2012.
Safety was, of course, a concern, and also is to provide continuity of the streetscape.
Now, candy cane lighting along the 900 block of South Alamo will be extended through the 1100 block.
We do have that through the years, people asking for lights, and of course there's always a process to go through.
Construction is expected to start before the end of the year.
Have patience, it's going to be an incredible improvement for this incredible corridor that we all know.
City Council will officially sign this off next week. If you need more lights in your neighborhood, make sure to head to news4sanantonio.com. We put some links to contacts in our city. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Camilla. To find out where crime is happening in your area, just go to news4sanantonio.com. Right there, you click on the crime tracker tool that is powered by Alert ID.
Robert Price here at the live desk. Just got an update on a crash at a daycare up in the Dallas area we've been following all night long. We first showed you this scene live during the 6 o'clock newscast. The driver of a white Toyota Camry accidentally crashing through a fence, injured 5 children, 3 adults. Daycare in Frisco, north of Dallas. Well, Frisco police now confirm the driver of that car that crashed through the fence is 17 years old, a young man. Our Dallas affiliate just spoke with the father of that 17-year-old. He says his son simply confused the gas pedal with the brake. 2 of the children he hit had to be flown to the hospital. One of those children is said to be in critical condition.
Private charter planes at the expense of taxpayers. Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price now saying he regrets the controversy and will write a personal check of a little over $50,000 to the U.S. Treasury for the travel expenses, which notably only covers his seat, not the total cost of the flights. In a statement, Price said, "I know as well as anyone that the American people want to know that their hard-earned dollars are being spent wisely by government officials." Price also telling reporters on Thursday he still feels he has the full confidence of President Trump.
He's talked about it, and as he has said publicly, he wasn't happy, and he expressed that to me very clearly.
The president weighed in on the private travel Wednesday and wasn't thrilled.
We're looking into it, and I will look into it, and I will tell you personally, I'm not happy about it.
Thursday, the White House echoing those statements.
Because the president said yesterday he's not thrilled, certainly not happy with the actions. We're definitely looking at the issue. They're conducting both an internal and an IG full review.
The White House doesn't normally have a role in approving private charter flights for any agency, but Sanders says they're now looking into the workflow moving forward.
We're going to conduct a full review, and we'll see what happens.
Price says both he and his staff will cooperate fully. The House Oversight Committee also saying they're investigating the use of private aircraft for official administration business, adding they're looking at all cabinet member travel, not just Price's. In Washington, I'm Omar Jimenez.
And tonight we've also learned that Tom Price traveled on several long international trips on government aircraft, and those flights in total bring the total cost to taxpayers now up to more than $1 million. The White House tonight also released this statement. It says the use of military aircraft for cabinet and other essential travelers is sometimes an appropriate and necessary use of force. Now, within just the last couple of hours, Utah's former governor, Jon Huntsman, was confirmed as the U.S. ambassador to Russia. Earlier this month, Huntsman said there is, quote, no question that Russia did meddle in the 2016 presidential election. Now, right now, we are up in the newsroom. We're keeping an eye on the protests in St. Louis, Missouri. Want to show you some video. We just got in right there. That is moments ago. It's a little more organized. There, people have been protesting for nearly a month now. They are angry over the acquittal of a former police officer, a white man, Jason Stockley, who shot a black man there in 2011. All right, this is the live feed that is coming into our newsroom now. Pretty much more of the same. Things still appear to be relatively peaceful, but more than 120 people have been arrested there in just the past week in those protests. Of course, we'll keep an eye on it for you right here on 4. There has been another rock slide at Yosemite National Park in California, and this time a man was injured. This is the second rock slide in just 2 days at El Capitan. Yesterday, the falling rocks there, a rock slide, killed a man, sent another woman to the hospital. Well, you might remember the story about the toddler who was clinging to her mother's body in the floodwaters over after Harvey. Well, tonight we have learned that she is now at the center of a custody battle in Beaumont. 3-year-old Jordan's father is in a custody battle now with that mother's cousin who's been taking care of Jordan since she was rescued and the mother died. The cousin says the father has been out of the little girl's life since she was born. Meanwhile, the father says he's trying to do the best for her and wants to raise her well. The judge will make a decision in that case on Monday. Now we want to go to our Ariana Lubelli with information now on a local university getting close to $300,000 to help stop sexual assaults on campus.
Students at St. Mary's University say they feel safe walking on campus. The threat of a sexual assault or stalking incident isn't an immediate concern for them, but they want to stay proactive.
I think it's really important, especially because of the type of culture that we have right now within the country itself of like sexual abuse and everything. So I think it's good to have regulations and restrictions.
Now with $300,000 of grant money, Dean Tim Besler tells me the university will use it to implement new programs, training, and resources to decrease sexual assault, domestic or dating violence, and stalking.
If we can take extra measures to prevent this from happening, or if it has happened, to at least be that support system, I mean, it's awesome. So I'm glad we got it.
The school has seen a higher number of those cases in the last 4 or 5 years.
5 years ago, if we had 1 or 2 reports a year across those categories, it was a lot. Now the numbers are many times that. And I think that's an indicator of members of our community feeling safe coming forward.
The funding will also cover 24-hour counseling, specialized victim programs, and costs associated with rape kits and SANE exams.
When you have incidents of dating or domestic violence in a community, when you have incidents of sexual assault, when you have incidents of stalking, those incidences directly tear out the fabric of our educational community.
Ariana Lubelli, News 4 San Antonio.
You're watching News 4 San Antonio.
The names of 2 San Antonio firefighters have now been added to a national memorial to firefighters in Colorado Springs. And our Ashley King and photojournalist Paul Sanchez were there as they were honored.
When the fire was out and the alarm had come to an end, it was the bell that signaled the completion of that call.
This is the International Association of Firefighters annual Fallen Firefighter Memorial.
We have firefighters from all over the nation who are honoring the guys that have passed away within the last year.
Todd Woodcock.
Danny Vera Jr.
It's a somber occasion, but I'll come every time that one of our members gets put on the wall.
Andrew B. Russell.
Leonard Art Krupman.
So today we are putting 2 of our own on the wall. They both passed away from cancer a year ago. Danny Vera Jr. and Todd Woody Woodcock.
You might be wondering why the name of firefighter Scott Deem, who was killed in a fire this year, was not honored there this year. We are told, though, that he will be honored next year.
Robert Price back here at the live desk with some breaking news from up in Dallas. The Dallas Independent School District has just voted unanimously to change the names of 4 elementary schools named after Confederate generals. Here are a couple of pictures from tonight's school board meeting. The generals in question that the schools are named after include Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, among others. Well, tonight, about 10 minutes ago, in fact, the board voted 9-0 to waive the rules for the school name change policy. Kind of speeds up the process. Replacement names could come as soon as December. In fact, Lee Elementary there in Dallas has already got a replacement name in place, ready to go, Geneva Heights Elementary. Randy?
All right, thanks, Robert. Now to hard-to-watch scene caught on camera inside a Missouri jail. That is the moment coming up here when a guard on the second floor realizes inmates are out of their cells. He has no choice but to cross their path.
You can see him kind of show his radio to the inmates below who are already taunting him to let them know that he was calling for help.
Now you then see him walk down the stairs and then he is attacked, punched and kicked, in fact, for more than a minute. 4 inmates tonight are charged, 3 of them accused of hitting him, the other for standing watch. Now the guard is okay and actually finished his shift because he said he didn't want to lose his overtime and was treated later. The inmates are being transferred now to other facilities. They could get from 7 to more years tacked onto their sentences. We have new video out of Mexico tonight. You're looking at an operating room during that deadly 7.1 magnitude earthquake. 6 patients there were having operations, and their surgical teams chose not to evacuate so they could finish their surgeries, including one was a brain surgery. All of those were successfully completed. In fact, 4 of the patients have already been discharged. We also have some new drone video now from Puerto Rico. These are damaged homes and buildings, and again, you can see long lines of cars still waiting for gasoline. More video now from the island. People using ropes there to get to the other side of a washed out, flooded road. Others, though, taking their chances on a bulldozer to get to other areas of Puerto Rico. A new problem there, cash is dwindling on the island. With most of the place still without power, families are relying on cash instead of credit cards, debit cards, trying to rebuild or buy much needed supplies. Though tonight, the president has lifted the shipping restrictions, which should help get more resources to Puerto Rico. A consumer alert now from our Matt Gephardt that might make you think twice about using some of the travel sites out there to book your next trip.
Oh, Jenna, 3 purple ones.
Shayla Poirier had planned an international holiday trip last December with her 2 daughters.
I was headed to go see my parents initially in Doha, Qatar.
But almost immediately it began to go wrong.
Kept getting delayed, and then at one point they said it's canceled.
And worse, when they rebooked, they apparently forgot to get Shayla a seat.
Your girls can get on this flight, you can't.
Well, that certainly was not going to work, and now it was getting too late and too complicated to try to make the vacation fit into their schedules. So they went home, and Shayla began the arduous task of trying to get a refund. The airlines could not help her because she had not booked through them. She had booked through a third-party travel agent website, JustFly.com. But JustFly wouldn't help either.
And every person said, no, it's their fault, or it's their fault, or it's their fault. We can't issue you any kind of refund. Sorry, but it's not our fault, it's someone else's.
Out more than $5,000, Shayla asked me to investigate. When we reached out to JustFly.com, they told us that Shayla has been issued a refund, writing, quote, "The airline has confirmed that the refund was made directly to your credit card." But this letter from Shayla's bank shows that's not true. Quote, "Our records do not indicate an airline credit has been applied to your account." We pointed that out to JustFly, who now says they are investigating. As I dug deeper, I found out this is not the first time somebody's had an issue with JustFly.com. In fact, the Better Business Bureau has put out multiple warnings about the company, the latest coming just last year.
They have more than 900 complaints in the last 3 years.
Complaints just to the BBB?
Yes. And we know that we don't get every complaint. So you know there's more complaints out there.
Utah's BBB president, Jane Driggs, says that booking through any third party can turn into a hassle when there's a problem.
It all depends on whether or not your time is money. If your time is money, then you probably don't want to use a third party because it could go wrong.
Wrong it does go. As I've reported many times before, travel booking websites and travel companies are not always on the same page. And when something goes wrong in your reservation and you try to call the hotel or airline directly to straighten it all out, they won't even talk to you because technically it's not you who made the reservation.
It's easier if you book directly because then that company, they care about you and they are willing to help you out.
Go to town, kiddo.
As for Shayla, she is hopeful that she'll eventually get a refund when JustFly.com completes their investigation.
Well, here's the bottom line. 73 outside, humidity is high. WorldCar 4-zone camera shows you kind of a misty, rainy, cool San Antonio. But it's going to change relatively soon. How much rain has fallen? Well, as of today, for the year, 21.84. That's just a little shy of 2 inches below normal. August was a big month. This month would have been non-existent on the records with the exception of the last few days that got us at 2.29. Otherwise, September would have looked bad. All right, let's fly you around again tonight. We're starting off the African coast. There's our two storms, Lee and Marie, that are still sitting out there, not doing much for us. The rotation pattern shows you lots of moisture still coming up the midsection of the country, some of it from, of course, the Pacific. Here we had a boundary, a Canadian system that came south. It was kind of tough to feel because it was already cold and wet anyway. What's going to happen is slowly this air is going to come in, push the moisture out of the way. The term is called advection. And when that happens, things dry out, the sun comes back out, and you have a great weekend in store. Here's how it looks now. We're still getting some light showers coming out of the southwest with the jet stream, and then other showers coming out of the northeast. The boundary is pushing that down. So it's kind of interesting to have two different directions. Future Tracker says it's all going to go that way. So we could have another round of rain overnight, Friday morning at 2 a.m. Then it pushes all off into the western zone. We get another little kind of resurgence late on Friday. And then we have enough of this cool, dry air in that your weekend is guaranteed. It looks really good. All right, so temperatures right now across San Antonio, rain cooled. We're at 75. Now watch what happens when we get to 7 in the morning. It's only 72. It doesn't have far to go. All right, so your forecast is moderate rain tomorrow. Any zone you pick, it's going to be cloudy, it's going to be cool, and we're going to have light to moderate rain, with the exception of maybe one more round of showers coming through the late night hours. We really are not expecting a great deal to happen that could certainly create flooding, i.e. the flash flood watches then have been dropped. 7-day forecast for us looks like this quickly. Good. One more day of rain and then nothing but sunshine. It's all online at news4sa.com.
And I'm David Chancellor. He may be under the radar, but Rudy Gay is not underrated when it comes to his teammates. And why wait until Friday? We've got week 5 of high school football kicking off tonight. Highlights from all over the area next.
Thomas J. Henry Sports Desk.
If you have the end of the week blues, not to worry. The best sign that the weekend is coming, high school football on Thursday nights, and I love this. Ferris Stadium honoring first responders before the Warren-Brennan game tonight. Once the ball kicked off, got some serious talent finding its way to the end zone. Devin Moore walks in for Warren to put them up early. But Brennan would answer in a hurry. Jamil Jeter, decisive, fast. 25-yard touchdown to tie the game. Then this, later in the quarter, Jeter. He scores a lot of touchdowns. 6-yard touchdown right there, and Brennan rolls 45-14. But the game that we're talking about as well, Hallmark University's Thursday Night Lights, Don Harris at the infamous and famous Alamo Stadium calling Burbank and Jefferson. Don, take it away.
Hey, Dave, our first trip to Alamo Stadium this year. Always love coming back to the rock pile. I told you all summer long that our TNL schedule was the best ever. Didn't disappoint tonight. Roll the highlights. A big district showdown between Burbank and Jefferson. Both teams riding high. Burbank had won 2 in a row coming in. Could they make it 3 in a row? Burbank on the board first. James Vallejo scores on the 4-yarder. They led 7-0, but their defense also making the highlights, and more than that, look at this hit by Devin Cardenas. Tell me that's not a potential Play of the Week nominee. Oh my, but Jefferson answered. Jason Garay threw 2 touchdown passes. This one to Eric Ariza gave the Mustangs the halftime lead, but it was all Burbank in the second half. Dylan Goosemay had a 75-yard catch. He had this 31-yard reverse for a touchdown, and the Bulldogs have now won 3 in a row. The final 30-16. Look out for Burbank. They just might be a sleeper in District 28 5A right now. They're undefeated with a perfect 3-0 in district play. Dave, back to you.
All right, Don, thanks. Don and Chuck McAtenick do a great job calling Hallmark University's Thursday Night Lights there on our sister station, the CW35, so check that out all season long. Other scores tonight, the Unicorns win the Battle of New Braunfels, beating Canyon 49-7, and the Bernie Greyhounds shut out Bandera 37-0. And of course, this is just a taste of our high school football coverage. Week 5 of Friday Night Fever starts tomorrow at Cornerstone. That's where we're tailgating, and it's a very special night for the school and one family. Do not miss that at 6:30. Marquee games tomorrow, Steele Judson at Rutledge Stadium, Mac Reagan at Heroes, and Harlandale hosting Somerset. And then, of course, highlights and scores, 60 area schools tomorrow night at 10:15. You know, some big name moves, big names on the move this offseason in the NBA. But when asked on national radio this week which move caught his eye, Golden State head coach Steve Kerr did not hesitate. Rudy Gay to the Spurs was his decision. Interesting was Kerr's word about this move. It's typical Spurs offseason, under the radar with everything else going on. But if Rudy Gay is able to rebound from that Achilles injury he suffered last January, the Spurs won't be under the radar for long. Danny Green said this week that he's covered Gay plenty over the years. Here's Green's scouting report and the comparison, which should make Spurs fans fired up about the possibilities.
Can't block a shot. Very similar to Kevin Durant. You know, you try to play as good as defense you can on him and hope he misses, because you know, how tall and long he is, you can't get to a shot, and he's going to get it off, and you know, hopefully so if you play good enough defense, you just hope he misses.
Pretty good comparison right there. Spurs open the preseason next Monday. That's right. Basketball season starts Monday in Sacramento at 9 o'clock. Zeke's hurt it. He is out of shape. He's distracted. And last year, he would have taken this play right here Monday night all the way to the house for a touchdown. Here's Zeke's response to critics.
Some people are saying that's a play last year you take to the house, and they're saying that maybe you're a half a step slower. The people that are saying that, what's your response to that?
Shut up.
Fair enough. So you don't feel like you're any slower?
No.
No. Okay.
All right. Elliott saying today the run game that's been adequate will only get better as the season rolls along. As of now, the Cowboys' running game considered a strength before the season, but right now it ranks 22nd in the league. That's near the bottom. Dallas plays the Rams Sunday. LA is one of the worst at stopping the run this season, so there may be hope to turn it around Sunday. And Thursday night football for the University of Texas and the Eyes of Texas, looking at possibly a win tonight. They are 17-7 on Iowa State in the fourth quarter. Shea Michelle got the start at quarterback over the freshman Sam Ehlinger. Bouchel, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Their offense has looked awful, but their defense has been fantastic.
Tonight?
Tonight.
Okay.
Tonight.
I mean, before. All right. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Tonight at 10, make sure to join News 4 San Antonio today, tomorrow, beginning at 4:30 a.m. Good night.